Hello YouTube, I just got off a very long flight to Shanghai and I'm working on like 2 hours sleep. So apologies if this video is a little sloppier than usual. And obviously I don't have my normal filming setup here, so we're gonna have to make do with what we've got. But anyway, to get to the point, most of you who watch this channel will already know how much I love the Vivo X200 Ultra and its associated photography kit. But now we've got something new. The X300 Pro has arrived and it's got its own photography kit. It comes in a very similar large box, just like the X200 Ultra one did. But is it any different? And is it any better? That's what I want to find out. So I thought before I tear it all open and start testing it, I'll show you exactly what we get in the box and have a quick comparison to the old kit. As you can see, we've got the X300 Pro on top with the same pull cord release mechanism. And this I have actually opened because I started updating firmware and things like that. But here's the X300 Pro. We've got kind of a titanium-y, like a warm white, silvery, golden. I don't know how to describe it. I'll see better when it's in the light. It's hard to see here. We've gone even more squared off than the X200 Ultra. So the X200 Ultra had a big square camera module, but it still had micro curves on the edge of the display and matching curves on the rear panel. So it wasn't completely flat. This model, completely flat screen, completely flat rear, and slightly more rounded on the camera bump, but it's still got this hard edge that looks like a focus wheel. It doesn't actually move, but yeah. Anyway, we'll talk more about the phone later. What I want to see is the photography kit. So just like the X200 Ultra, you got a big slide out thing, and this is a little diagram of what the kit includes, and it's just padded. That's just packaging really. And already I can see differences. This decorative ring on the PGY Tech case is made of metal now, and it comes with 2 additional metal rings, which I think are much nicer than the cheap plastic ones you got with the X200 Ultra kit. Do these do anything? This looks just to be decorative as far as I can see, as does this. Are they just a slightly different colour? I think they're just a slightly different colour, but otherwise they look pretty similar. This one has lens threading, so you can use diffusion filters, ND filters or whatever, just like the old one, but it's now made of like a lightweight aluminium material, which is quite nice. Now the case, it is similar to the old one, but I had a few complaints about the old one. Let's take this ring off and see what's underneath. They're both pretty similar. I can immediately see that they fixed a massive design flaw with the original case. The original case had these cutouts on the corner. You see how mine's cracked there? This one's okay, but this one's cracked. If you pull it, you can see how bad it is. That's really common. I've seen loads of people complaining about that. And with the new case, no such problem. We've now got a larger cutout at the top, a larger cutout at the bottom to make it easier to get in and out. The other thing I wondered, do these new rings fit on the old case? No, they don't. Completely different size. So no cross compatibility on these decorative rings and filter thread. And you know what, why not try it? Can the case fit on the X200 Ultra? No, it can't. It's a completely different size. It's not even particularly close. So this new kit is just for the X300 Pro. Still get a shutter button grip. Looks to be the same design. Still clips into the case in the same way. That kickstand feels a bit nicer. Yeah, the hinge on the old kickstand is very stiff. New one's a little bit easier to release, a bit smoother. Not a major difference, but is there a difference between the 2 grips? They look very similar from the back and the side. New one says Vivo on it, old one just says PGY Tech. Texture's about the same, zoom rocker feels the same, scroll wheel feels the same. Yeah, it's basically the same, very slightly different. Same 1/4-20 mounting thread on the bottom and USB-C. So next, let's look at this bayonet on a bayonet mount. Oh, there's a new thing as well. We've got the action button now, or whatever Vivo are going to call that. Yeah, this bayonet mount, and grab the other one, a lot slimmer and a lot less heavy than the other one. Also got a nice little Zeiss logo on it. The question is, does it have, oh no, much less wiggle on that to compare. Here's the original. You can actually hear it. It rattles about. It's only like 1/2 millimeter of movement, but it's a little bit loose. This one, nothing. That's actually that's the optical image stabilization on the phone that you can hear rattling there. So that's cool. 2 big problems fixed. Love to see that. Here's the teleconverter itself, which looks about the same. See them side by side. I think these are exactly the same. Need to try and not get them mixed up. Can't really see a difference there. Let's see if they both attach to the new phone. So as before, you've got a little dot that you line up with the dot on the case. A little stiff for the first one. Okay, that is much more secure. Now, does the old one fit? I think it will. Yes, it's exactly the same product. So just a new case and a new mount and some new decorative rings. Slight changes to this thing. I don't think I tested the shutter buttons. You know what? Slightly different click to the shutter button, and I can't tell if I'm just imagining it, but this feels cold to me. So this might actually be metal. The old one was plastic. So yeah, subtle changes across the board. We've also got a neck mount, which looks very similar, probably the same as the old one. Have the mounting positions changed? Yes, they have. That's another big one. So on the old one, the only mounts for the neck strap were on the bottom. So the phone would hang around your neck upside down, which I really didn't like. This one, they're only on the top. Great change. So yeah, that's it for a quick hardware overview. Now we need to go out and test them in the real world. For this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the photography kit and the teleconverter, but obviously there will be other videos coming about the phone when you're not using the teleconverter. But now I'm going to go to bed. Well, good morning Shanghai, and it is very, very early in the morning, which is not normally how I live my life, but what are you going to do? Time zones. So the way the new teleconverter works in the default camera app is completely different, and that's a good thing. You go to this little settings cog at the top, go to more settings, scroll down, and you have to toggle telephoto extender on to get it to work. Get it connected. It's because of the humidity coming out of the aircon, it's a bit wet. It should detect it automatically and you can turn it on, but you can also toggle it off with this little button up here. And if you're not familiar already, if you don't use the telephoto extender mode, everything is going to be upside down and super shaky. And turning it on will flip the image and stabilize it properly. It's actually all fogged up. We're going to have to wait for this to clear because of the aircon. But yeah, I can still tell you why that's important while it's all fogged up. So this is the X200 Ultra, and the way it works on this phone is you have to go into a special telephoto extender mode. But there's a big downside to that, and that's that you can't choose your picture style, and the options in the settings are limited compared to what they would be in the default camera app. It's even more of a problem in video because there's no log recording. You can't shoot at 4K 120, and yeah, in photo mode you can't do 50 megapixel or 200 megapixel shots either. You're just limited to 12 megapixel. So not the ideal solution on the X200 Ultra, but with the X300 Pro, now we just got this little button, you should have basically all the same settings that you're used to from the default camera app. So for instance, we've got our picture styles on the right here. In video mode, we can record in log, and we can also record in 4K 120. So that's a massive, massive upgrade for this new telephoto extender. We'll just wait for the lens to clear up. Should only take a few minutes, and then we'll get some photos and videos and see how it looks. Okay, let's start with a video zoom test. I'm filming this out my hotel window, which will affect the image quality somewhat. I don't have the teleconverter attached at the minute. We're on the ultra wide, and let's just push in with the zoom and see what it looks like. Here's the main camera. Here's the telephoto. Here's 250 millimeters, which is the next button I've got in this mode. And we can push all the way up to 500 millimeters at 4K. And this is the kind of image you get. Now let's switch to the teleconverter and see what it looks like. So with the teleconverter attached, we start at 200 millimeters, and we have 3 buttons. We can push out to 400, 600 and 800 millimeters. And if we want to push further, it will allow us to go to 1150 millimeters, but I think it'll be looking pretty crusty at that zoom level. But obviously it's a lot more impressive than what you get without the teleconverter attached. Take a look at some other stuff. Just going to try and push it out to 200 millimeters to match. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at some photos now that you're all inspired by those slow-mo people commuting clips. Maybe not quite as majestic as the deer that we normally shoot, but beautiful in its own way, I would say. So this shot was taken at 200mm without the telephoto converter attached, and it was pretty good for 200mm on a, 85mm lens. But if we zoom in, you can see there's a bit of that watercolor effect going on. Things are looking a bit blocky and unnatural. So let's see how it compares when we shoot with the teleconverter. So here's the same shot with the teleconverter attached, and at a glance it looks very similar. But if we zoom in a bit, you should see it's looking a lot more natural. It's not perfect, of course. There's still a little bit of image processing going on, but it looks more photo-like, less watercolory. It's easier to read text and things. So it does make quite a difference. And if we push further, this is at 1600mm, which is the maximum preset when you have the teleconverter attached. This is without the teleconverter attached, and you can see this sign here has become completely illegible. It's illegible to me anyway because it's in Chinese, but if it wasn't. Now if we switch to the shot with the teleconverter, not a great shot to be honest, but those characters are much more legible than they were without the teleconverter attached, and everything's just a bit clearer and easy to see. So it does make a difference. Honestly, that's not my favorite use case for the teleconverter. I like to use it on closer subjects because of the compression it creates. Like, look at this. This doesn't look like it was taken with a phone. So much compression. Yeah, that's just a really nice shot of this guy crossing the street. I will say I do feel like the focusing has improved with the new setup. It was detecting faces the whole time, and I was pretty much exclusively shooting fast moving subjects, and hit rate was pretty good. I wasn't in snapshot mode or anything. Like for instance, this one, I was panning along following this guy on a bike, and he's like in focus every time. These photos look pretty great, I think. These are all at 200mm. I mostly shot at 200mm, but I have got a few that are more zoomed in. I think this one's quite cool. Maybe not perfect focus on this one. Pretty good considering there wasn't even a face to target. And here's more of a still life type shot. I love the compression we got of these flowers in the foreground. It gives the image a really 3D look to it, and the details are pretty nice and sharp no matter where you look. Now this one I took to test out the minimum focus distance, which I believe to be about the same as the X200 Ultra version, about 90 centimeters ish, I believe. But yeah, lovely depth to this image. Like I was saying on the last one, it's just got that kind of 3D pop to it, to use Camera Conspiracy's terminology. Now this is the same shot taken at 200mm without the teleconverter attached, and you can just see how flat it looks. Not a bad image at all, but nowhere near as appealing as with the teleconverter attached. And for me, that's what it's all about. That compression just really makes your shots look less smartphone-like, and I love it. Very happy with this one as well. Perfect focus on this guy's face and so much detail. And that compression makes him stand out from the background. I know these shots are all a bit samey, but I only had like an hour or so to get some quick photos. Now this one was taken at 400mm, so 2x digital crop on the standard teleconverted focal length. You can immediately see it's not quite as sharp as it would be at 200mm. It's not bad though, and it's not looking too over processed, it's just looking a bit soft, which is my preference personally. And if we push into 800mm, yeah, more of the same. It's just not quite as sharp or detailed, but again, not awful. Okay, I'm filming this outro on the Vivo X300 Pro on the selfie camera, and this one has autofocus, which is nice and unusual for a Vivo Pro phone. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I just wanted to make it short and sweet, get it out as quick as possible. Obviously, we've still got a lot to test. If you want to see how the teleconverter performs at night, and if you want to see how the other lenses on this phone perform, then get subscribed, because it's all on the way and it'll be coming very soon. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Toodles.